Okay, today it is absolute values day 2, and you get into the more complicated ones. What's on the board is an absolute value equation. Let me just ask this. What if it didn't have these bars around it? Wouldn't it be as simple as just subtract 3 from both sides and you'd be done? And it's really close to that, but it's not that. All right? Let me show you why. On the other hand, if I won't go back. I'll put the other one up here. Okay. If what's underneath my scribble here was an 8 or a negative 8, those would be my two answers. Do you get what I'm saying? Wait, what's underneath the scribble could either be negative 8. That would work, wouldn't it? Yeah. Because you'd absolute value the negative 8 and it would become 8, right? Or if it was positive 8, that would also have worked, right? So that's why you can get two equations out of this. Everybody start by putting an arrow this way and an arrow that way. Do that right now with your pencil.
It's always going to be a 5.
Nope, the answer is not just 5. Do what I said. Draw an arrow, 2 arrows. Trust me. I don't want you to just think you got the answer when you got one of the answers. Draw an arrow. Okay, now you write 2 equations. One of them is as simple as if there was no bars around it. X plus 3 equals 8. Just like there's no bars. Do that, please. Write that down. Now, the other one is very much like it. In fact, what I ask you to do is copy it. But would you ever, in real life, do the same exact problem twice? No. So, yes, you remember? Okay, I'll show you in a moment how we can get the answer. And I'm happy that you can get the answer in your head, but I need a system that always works. All right, so that would be dumb to do the same exact thing twice. But just a second, didn't I just say a second ago that what's underneath here was going to equal 8? And what's underneath here was going to equal negative 8. Do you get where I'm going here? This is the one where it equals 8, and this is the one where it will equal negative 8. That's all you do is put a little negative on the second equation. Do that. And now watch what happens when I solve it. Minus 3, draw a line. Everybody do that. Catch up. Okay, have you got both sides done already? Mrs. N, can you check and see if he's done what he says he's done? I need to see both equations solved. There's 2 equations to solve. And I know, I could have done that in my head a long time ago and said 5. But the problem is there's 2 answers, not just that one. Negative 3, draw the line. X equals what? Negative 11. There's 2 answers, 5 and negative 11. All right, so the process is to draw these 2 arrows. Yes, I will want to see that in your work. Then you write 2 equations. This equation and that equation. And the difference is only one little negative. I made it red so that it would stick out right there. That's the only difference between those 2 equations. You just have to put in one little negative sign. So let's see if you caught what I was laying down there. X minus 5, absolute value, equals 3. First, what was the first thing that we have to do? Better not be about going to the bathroom. Yes?
So we have to do this every time?
Yes. You're going to have to solve 2 little equations. They're baby equations, though. Everybody make your 2 little arrows. And then, what's the equation on the left? X minus 5 equals 3. And then you copy it exactly. X minus 5 equals 3. And then you go, well, that'd be dumb. I'm not doing the same exact equation twice. Negative 3. And then you show your work and you solve both those equations. You got your answer. Yep, there's plus 5s all over the place, but be careful because it's not the same answer. This one's 8. Positive or negative 2? Final answer. Positive 2 is correct. And if your life depended on this, if you needed this to be right, because like The teacher was offering some awesome prize, like if you got this one problem right, you don't have to do homework tomorrow. If just listen, no, it's not you. That was a dream world for you. Or let's say it's a crazy billionaire, and he says, "I'm going to give you $1 million if you can answer this one math question." Well, then, if you had time to check it, how would you check and see if you were right?
Google it.
You would hopefully be smart enough to say, if it's going to be $1 million, I think I'll check before I give him my answer. That would be smart. Okay, well, you should take this 8 and you put it back up in the original and then see if it works. 8 minus 5 is 3. Is the absolute value of 3 equal to 3? Did that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it came out to 3, and the absolute value of 3 is 3. Cool. Okay, does 2 really work? Think it through. 2 minus 5.
No, it doesn't work.
It comes out to -3. Oh, it's wrong. No, it's not. Because it's -3, but then you do the absolute value part,
Yeah.
and it makes it +3, so it does work. All right, I wanted to make you think, so I said it in a tricky way that made some of you think it didn't work, but it actually does. So there's my 2 answers. That's how you do absolute value equations. All right, now, there's only one other little thing that they do to you sometimes, and it's this. I have a saying in my higher level math classes that's get the clump alone. Okay? Do you get that this is the clump? You got to treat that like it's a variable and you need to get it alone. What's by it? -4. How do I get rid of -4? +4. Do everybody do +4? Try this one. That's your first step. Then you can do the split it into 2 equations thing. Write that one down. Write that one down. X minus 3 in bars. -4 equals 8. So after you added 4, what did you get?
Well, can I say something?
Yes, you can.
I just think of a different way to say get the clump alone because that in my brain does not make any sense to me.
Okay.
It's like
Sure.
you get a clump of stuff alone.
Well, it really is that.
Logical, so if you could think of it
If I wanted to, I can think of it another way, but I want you to see what I'm talking about. All right. Okay. So this, let's say this is the thing I want to try to get alone, but it's got this by it, and there's another side to this table, and I'll make a dividing line here. Here, this is a good dividing line. Wait. This is like the equal sign here. All right. Okay. That and that together equal, I'll make a white clump of paper. Okay, those two are equal to that, and I'm trying to get this alone. There's only one thing by it. Now, if I get this out of here, and that means you bring it to the other side, then this is alone. Okay, you just want to get that thing alone. This is like the equal sign in between it. And yeah, now the other things are both on the same side. So that's kind of like this. This is the thing you want to get alone. So I'm going to get rid of that -4 and get it out of here, but I can't just cross it off. In math, you got to get rid of it by subtracting it, doing the opposite of it. So I add 4 to both sides. That gets rid of it. Now it's gone. And now it's equal to 12, yes. And now it's this. And hopefully you learned enough from what I just told you a second ago to know to make 2 equations. One of them is x minus 3 equals 12. And the other one is x minus 3 equals 12 again. No, that'd be dumb. What's the second one, actually? -12. And then you solve those 2 equations. And then, what is -12 plus 3? And if you were terrible at this and you had to use a calculator, you could. But it's -9. Very good. So I got 2 answers, 15 and -9. And if my life depended on it, I would stick them back in the original problem. And I would stick in, what did I say they were again? My alignment's off. 15 and -9. If I stick in a 15, I make sure it works. That's going to make 18. And the absolute value of 18 is 18. And then I'd subtract 4. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Uh-oh, something went wrong. So I'm going to go back and check and see what could I have done wrong here.
Put it plus. Yeah, big problem. They're both.
Oh, yes, thank you. The original problem had a plus in it. Do you see I copied something down wrong? I put a minus right here. I was supposed to put a plus. So I caught myself so that if this was the crazy millionaire problem, where he's going to give me, actually billionaire problem, and he was going to give me $1 million if I answered it right, I would have lost. I'm so glad I checked it. All right, so then this is really a plus 3, and that makes this really a plus 3 and a plus 3, and that means I really subtract 3 from both sides. That changes a ton of stuff. And then my final answer would really be 12 minus 3 is 9, and negative 15. Very good. All right, so you saw me make my first mistake today. Not my first mistake ever, that's for sure. All right, so get the clump alone is the theme. Watch this. What's the thing I got to do first before I can do the split?
Get the thing alone.
Yeah, get the thing alone. There we go. There. I got that thing. I like to call it the clump. You know why I call it the clump instead of the absolute value? Because when the problems are actually this, you still got to get the clump alone. The clump, though, in this problem is right here. Hold on. I'll put a box around it. That's not working. I'm just going to highlight it. That. Bring out the highlighter. Highlighter. There. That's the clump, and you'd need to get it alone. So that's just extending it. That's just extending it to like what you're going to see when you get to higher level math. All right. So this is the clump. I was getting it alone. I started by subtracting 7, and now it's almost like I'm done. But now is when it starts. X minus 5 equals 5, and x minus 5 equals negative 5. And then I just solve those two little mini equations. So I say 0 actually could work. Watch. When I put in a 0, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. It actually works. See? All right. All right. I'm going to hand out the worksheet. We'll do a couple together. I'll pause while I do that. Okay. First off, there's too many. So you can take the whole right-hand side, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way up to 18, the whole right-hand side, and do those. I'm just kidding. Cross them off. I knew that's what you thought I was going to say. Yes, cross off the whole right-hand side, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. You can cross them all off. Flip it over, do the same thing. The right side. The whole right side is gone. Same thing on the back side. The right side is gone. Okay? So now, some of these are so easy they're kind of insulting, but I'm going to insult you by making you do some easy ones. Would you read me number 1, please? Because I can't see because I don't have my glasses. X equals 4.2. Isn't there an absolute value somewhere?
There you go. In between the X.
Oh, on the X. Okay. Do you remember that this is the kind where we would have had a V shape and another line? That's to remind you there's 2 answers. It's not just 4.2. It's also negative 4.2. And if you wanted to see a picture of it, it would have looked like a V shape with another line running through it. And that should remind you, oh yeah, there's 2 answers on this kind. That answer and that answer. All right. Number 2, also 2 answers that would work. I did number 1 already. Number 8. Okay, would you read me number 8, please? Negative 4x plus 1. Is that all in bars? Okay, so the absolute value of that is equal to what? Thank you. All right. I'm glad you noticed that that was tricky. Do you know why it's tricky?
No, I don't. Those negative words.
Nope, it's not that. It's not that there's a negative inside. That's not what's tricky. There is a negative, but just because there's another negative somewhere else doesn't make it tricky. All right. Do you remember how I said absolute values always make things come out positive? Aren't we going to be trying to make this absolute value come out to a negative? Can you make an absolute value come out negative? I thought they were supposed to be things that make stuff positive. So there is no way to do that. What is the correct math answer then?
No solution.
No solution is correct. Actually, sometimes undefined would have. It's undefined. I probably would have even accepted. It's not a bad word for this, but well, you're right. Even if you didn't mean to be. All right, can't do that one because absolute values can't come out negative. It's like saying, when is it sunny out but still dark? But it's not. It's got to either be sunny out or dark. It's one or the other. That's impossible. No solution. When is... I was trying to give you an example of something that's impossible. So you can think of your own example. Something that's impossible. This thing is impossible. All right. Let's move on. Backside. Flip it over to the backside. That's the point. It can't be. That's what I was saying is it's not possible. Mr. T, on the backside of the worksheet, would you read me number 1, please? And start when the bars are there, you'd say absolute value of.
Absolute value of plus 2.
And then is there anything outside the absolute values?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Negative 8.
Negative 4, and then what?
And then it's equals 6.
Perfect. Get the clump alone. I actually want someday get a thing called a clump alone. Because then I could be like, hey, get the clump alone. And some kid will be like, yeah, here it is. Right here. Here's the clump alone. See what I mean? All right, so that went over your head. It's fine. So I'm going to get this clump right here alone. So what do? Add 4 to both sides. Draw a line. 6 plus 4, I can do that. It's 10. Then, but how do I do it now? Tell me. Oh, wait, I changed a plus to a minus again. Yes, sir? X plus 2 equals 10. X plus 2 equals negative 10. You're a genius. Keep going. Now what are we going to do? Solve. Do minus 2, and you do it to both sides, and you get x equals perfect. And you minus 2 and minus 2, and you do it to both sides. Negative 12. You are a rock star at this stuff. That is absolute values. Nice. Okay. Sure. Read me number 3, please. I've been asked to do number 3 on the back side of the worksheet. Can you read me number 3, please?
X plus 1, absolute value.
Yup. Yup. Okay. Now that one is possible because, you know that first thing we got to do? Get the clump alone. Here's the clump. I start by adding 8, and then it all works out. Because even though I'm not supposed to normally get a negative answer, once I add 8, I won't have a negative over there. This one is doable. You just start by adding 8, and you're all good. And yes, there is more than one answer that will come out impossible. So you might want to copy that one down, yeah. All right. So, yes, you may. The rest of the time is... I'm not done. Remember, you got to make the 2 equations then, right? Doink, doink, and then you got 1 for this, 1 for that. You're good at making those. All right, that's all I have for you for today.